What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to yet another Touchdowns to Home Runs. And just before we get talking about Matt Stafford and the Chicago Bears and all the possible trade rumors that are going on, because I know that's why you are here, and trust me, it's big news. I want Stafford in Chicago. I don't know about how you guys feel, especially if you're a Bears fan. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this. Let me know if you want Deshaun Watson, if you want Stafford, if there's another free agent you want, or you're looking at the draft, which is something that I am definitely keeping my eye on for this Bears draft, because I want a new QB, and I think that's what we all want. So that's definitely going to be the talk of the offseason. But just before we get started on that, if you notice anything about the camera quality, you might not, because very little phones or computers will be able to process 4K, but I just dropped a ton of money on a new camera, a brand new 4K camera. It just shows that I am really investing and pushing myself into this brand or whatever. Yeah, we have 3.6 something subscribers right now. By the way, if you haven't subscribed already, definitely drop a sub. But that just shows you our progress, and what we're looking forward to is only up from here, and we are going to work our butts off to get to a point where we are making content constantly for you guys and stuff that you like. So I'd appreciate it if down below you drop a like or a sub or whatever you want to do. But let's get into this video, because it is a very interesting topic. And as soon as I heard about this today, that Matt Stafford and the Detroit Lions are going to part ways this season and he's going to be traded, it caught my eye. As a team that is in the quarterback market, as many teams are this offseason, like there are tons and tons and tons of teams. You got us, the Bears, Patriots are, I think the Saints, I don't know if they'll keep Jameis. I think that they may bring in a new quarterback. Interesting situation there. Steelers, maybe. I don't know if they're going to stick with Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins or not. Then you got obviously the Jets, Jaguars, Lions now, Falcons. There's some more teams. Panthers. Who else is looking for a quarterback in the draft? There's the Giants, maybe? Giants? I don't think so, because I think they're going to ride with Jones for a bit more. Depends what goes on, but Stafford could go to a lot of teams, and I've heard the trade rumors of him going to the Patriots a lot. That has been a huge, huge deal. That's like what the rumors are really tending to around right now. But I want this guy in Chicago. We've seen this. We play this kid 2 times every single year as a Bears fan. And let's be honest, like Detroit sucks. Detroit, the Lions have sucked for many, many, many years, and somehow the Bears still find themselves losing to them in some bad games. Like, for instance, one game this season, we had the lead for most of the game, and then all of a sudden the Lions come back and beat us. Matt Stafford is a very good quarterback. Matt Stafford, if you put the right guys around him, this guy, I guarantee you, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Definitely a top 10 quarterback in the league if he has the right weapons around him. But has he in Detroit? No, he has not. Like, his best receiver, other than Calvin Johnson, like Megatron, who he only had in his early years. Who has he had? He's had like Kenny Golladay. No, Aguilar wasn't on the Lions. I can't remember. They got I know Bruce Ellington was on there. Don't remember if you Lions fans remember him, but I know him because he was a Gamecock, and I'm a big Gamecocks fan. Who's the other guy on? There's one other guy on Detroit that's good that is just escaping my mind right now, and it's killing me. But you see, like Kenny Golladay being the premier guy. Yes, Golladay is a really, really good receiver, and you look at the running backs that he's had. He has Swift. He's had Peterson. He had Kerryon Johnson. Like, the guys that he's had haven't been premier guys. His offensive line hasn't been anything special. And Detroit, just all in all, hasn't been a good team for the last bunch of years. They've been one of the most cursed franchises in the whole league for forever, however long. You got the Browns, you got the Bills, and then you got the Lions, who just all seem like cursed, and the Jets, obviously. The Jets are just in a bad spot right now. And the football team are in a bad spot. Lots of teams are in a bad spot. But Detroit's one of those teams who has been in a bad spot for a long time. And you have... What was he? He was picked number 1 overall in the draft out of Georgia. Like, this kid knows how to play football. This kid can play the game. Like, let's just take a look back at some of his stats. All the seasons where he played full games. So 2011 to, what would that be? 2018, you go 41 touchdowns, 20 touchdowns, 29 touchdowns, 22 touchdowns, 32 touchdowns, 24, 29, 21. And then 2019, he played half a season, threw 19 touchdowns. And then this season, he threw 26 touchdowns for the Lions. He doesn't throw too many interceptions. Like, it's not terrible numbers. Like, what is he at? 16, 17, 19, 12, 13, 10, 10, 11, 5, 10. He's really limited it down out of, but like, this kid can throw the ball. He's a tough guy too. Like, Matt Stafford, I'm sure if you've been on social media before, if you're on Instagram and stuff, I see this all the time on Instagram. The one play, I cannot remember for the life of me who the Lions were playing, but there was that one play, end of the game or whatever. Matt Stafford chucks the ball down deep. He gets absolutely crunched. His shoulder falls out of its socket or whatever. And he gets up with like his shoulder dislocated and everything. And he's like, no, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to play that last play from the 1 yard line and I'm going to throw the ball. And guess what he does? Throws a game-winning touchdown. Walks over to the sideline with his dislocated shoulder and then moves on, gets put back into place, blah, blah, blah. This is a guy that wants to win, and this is a guy that is not scared to take hits in the pocket. Like, he's not a Lamar Jackson. He's not a Kyler Murray. He's not a guy who's really going to beat you with his feet all that much, but he is somewhat mobile. He's not someone who's just going to stand in there and be a statue, like, not be able to move at all. He's got some mobility. It's not the greatest in the league, but it's definitely not the worst in the league. Matt Stafford, he's still a young guy. When was he drafted? 2009? He's been around in the league for 11 years. He's not Tom Brady. He's not 43 years old. He's not blah, 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 blah. He's 32 years old. He's still got some juice in him. And if we can squeeze as much out of him in Chicago, if we get the right guys around him, if we trade the right pieces and either keep Allen Robinson on the receiving core, that would be huge. If we bring in a new quarterback, that could convince A-Rob to stay. I don't know what he's thinking, but I think that could be a huge factor in getting A-Rob to stay. Or A-Rob leaves, he signs somewhere else, as he probably should, because he was a waste of amazing talent in Chicago. He was unbelievable the whole time, and we just couldn't utilize him enough. We couldn't get him the right quarterback, so I can understand completely why he'd want to leave. Do I want him to leave? No, he's my favorite player on the Bears, and all in all, he might be the best player on this team, seeing that Khalil Mack hasn't really made any forward progress since his first season as a Chicago Bear. I would agree completely if someone said Allen Robinson was the best player on the Bears, because this guy just plays consistently. Every single game, he's making big catches for the Bears. Sometimes we don't even try to get him the ball. I don't understand that. He comes down with it even when he's on the best cornerbacks in the league. It is what it is. So if A-Rob leaves and we're able to trade this pick without losing our first-round draft pick, you either spend that on O-line. I know there's tons of O-line, tons of big O-linemen in this draft this year, or a guy named Jalen Waddle may be around still in that draft. And if we go pick up Jalen Waddle, a guy with speed, tons of speed and elusiveness, you got Darnell Mooney, who's an amazing steal in the draft. What was he? 5th round pick last year for us out of, was he Tulane? I'm pretty sure he was out of Tulane. He had an amazing season. He's our speedster. He's a guy who can beat you with his feet. Same with Waddle. If you pair up those two guys, you got Miller still. I'm guessing Javon Wims is gone. There's no way that he's sticking around. Riley Ridley is a guy that we've seen very, very subtly. Like, we haven't seen him all too much, but he does have some talent. I remember watching him back in college. The kid can play if we just get him in the right opportunities and get him to build. We could have a really good offense. David Montgomery started to get it going at the end of the season. Like, this kid was one of the better. He had one of the higher rush yards per game in the last 6-8 games of the season. If we just get his O-line to push the D-line forward or whatever and get him some holes, David Montgomery finishes runs. He's a good, aggressive, hard runner that can go out, pick up some really good yards in the game for us. Yes, he's not going to be a guy who's going to hit a home run every play. I think he only hit 1 or 2 at this whole season where he had plays that went for 50, 60 yards or something like that. One was against the Packers. I can't remember where the other one was against. But we have the puzzle pieces to have a good offense. We have the defense. We need to pick up a safety. Safety should be something huge that we're looking for in this draft, because we passed up on Antoine Winfield in the draft this year. That was a big mistake because he is now one of the top 10 rookies in the league, and we got to make up for it. We just need a safety on defense. We maybe need another cornerback, something like that. We need a linebacker to match up with Roquan Smith. Trevathan's getting old. He's getting old. D-line, in my opinion, is fine, completely fine. I don't see anything wrong with it. Like Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mack, they're still going to be great players. You got Eddie Goldman, who had some unbelievable, or Bilal Nichols it was, who had some unbelievable games this season, towards the end of the season where he was getting a sack every single game or whatever. He did amazing, and especially letting go of Leonard Floyd, a guy who had, 10 plus sacks this season for the Rams, when we decide to sign Robert Quinn instead, who has like 2 sacks, it was a rough choice. So there is some rebuilding for Ryan Pace to do for the Chicago Bears, but I think Matt Stafford, I mean, I'm looking at the draft. Mac Jones is circled on my board for the draft. Now, it's looking like he may not even fall that far anymore because he decided to throw for 5 touchdowns in each of like the Rose Bowl, the National Championship, and the SEC Championship game. So his stock went up a ton, and it looks like I've seen a bunch of mocks to him to the Falcons at like 5 or something like that. And what might be left around for us at that point, you'll have Trey Lance, you'll have JT Daniels, went back to Georgia, so he's not going to be in the draft this year. You're going to have Kyle Trask available. But why not get a guy who's proven? Why not get a guy with the stats who just hasn't had the team around him? And I think that guy is Matt Stafford. So make the deal with Detroit, and let's go win some ball games next season. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I appreciate it. Definitely like down below. Comment anything about the Chicago Bears, and thank you for watching, and come back next time.